Good morning, everyone.
January 1st, 2020.
Happy New Year's.
Yep. How are you, Miss Donna?
I am doing good, and how are you?
I'm doing great.
That's good. How do you feel it being 2020 right now?
I don't know. That's one of those questions, right? Like when people say, how do you feel on your birthday or whatever, like, or how do you feel with the new, like for me, it's just like.
You know, the only time that I feel different is when we're at work and we have to write the date.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, yeah.
Oh,
it's not 19 anymore. Right.
Yeah, I don't think it makes, it doesn't change anything for me in terms of like how I feel about anything. Does it for you?
No.
No.
It doesn't change anything, just the date I write. That's
and I think that's the thing with getting older too, is like, you know, when my kids or when people talk about like, you know, how do you feel now that you're this age or that age or whatever? I think the good and the scary thing about growing older is that you still feel the same, but your body's changing, but inside
you still feel 15.
Still yeah, you're still the same. It's like, why is everybody looking at me like I'm a, you know, this or that? But it's the same. Aww. But anyway, it's New Year's.
Yes, and we're already here, man. But it was a good 2019.
Yeah,
right.
I'm
a lot
complain.
happened. Yeah,
I can't
me too.
I mean, there's some things I can complain about, but we won't go into that. I was reading like an article about like resolutions and New Year and stuff like that, because of course that's what we do. But it was talking about like have you ever read anything about like where resolutions come from? Of course, it just seems like a no-brainer. Like people make resolutions because it's a clean slate or whatever, but. It said that like the first resolutions, although somebody could always dispute this, but it said like 4,000 years ago, the ancient Babylonians were probably the first people to make what would be similar to resolutions, that they had some sort of celebrations for the New Year's. But their New Year's actually started in March. Which is interesting because evidently the Romans did too. This is
the Babylonians.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they started in March because with their crop planting. That was like a new year.
Okay.
So,
is that like the whole summer solstice and
not for them.
No. Oh, okay.
But it was a 12-day like religious celebration that they called a Kitu or something like that.
Okay.
I don't speak ancient Babylonian. Okay. But there was when they were like crowning their first. They were crowning a new king, or they were reaffirming their loyalty to their current king.
Okay.
And during that time, they would like promise the gods that they were going to pay off their debts. And that they were
their debts to the gods?
Or to each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that they were going to return anything that they borrowed. I mean, it's very specific, right?
Okay.
But those are considered like the first resolutions. And then after that, I'm not the historian, thousands of years later or hundreds of years later, when ancient Rome, they said Julius Caesar was the one who came up with the making January 1 be the beginning, you know, being the new year.
Right.
And then it was around 46 BC or whatever. And that January was named, this is interesting to me because my kids are like all into the ancient, the gods things. Janus was January was named after Janus, the god, who was supposedly like a god with two faces.
Okay.
And whose spirit like inhabited doorways and arches. It was very interesting. And that they believed that
doorways.
It's interesting because they believed that he symbolically looked backwards into the past, but also looked forwards into the future. And so the Romans offered sacrifices. Okay. I don't know what kind of sacrifices they offered.
Right.
And they promised that they would have good behavior or whatever. But those were like the beginnings of as far as we know, I guess, and historians out there could tell us differently. And if you know, please tell us differently.
Well, that reminds me of that old HBO show called Rome. Did you ever watch that?
No.
Remember in the movie, or in the series, they would have all along the streets of Rome were like these altars for different gods. Oh. And they would have like people would bring fruit, candles, all different things, but there would be all different kinds of altars to these gods. They were pagan, right?
Yeah. I mean, Food and all that, that's
Yeah.
cool with me.
Yeah.
Just when they get down to the blood of the virgin or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
You can keep your grapes.
Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
Do you make resolutions?
Listen, I don't sit out and write like on a piece of paper, these are the things that I'm going to work on.
Right.
But I don't know. This is my opinion. I think that everyone just in their mind at least thinks about the upcoming year and what they would like to see happen. It's not necessarily that you're writing out, okay, these are the resolutions and I'm going to commit to them every day and do them. But I think it's almost like a natural thing to be like, okay, well, this year I hope that this happens.
Clean slate
or,
kind of feeling or whatever.
But do I sit and make resolutions? No.
Yeah.
I do not have like a list of, now there are things that I would like to work on this year.
Right.
But I haven't sat down and like formally written out and like, okay, I'm going to start this January 1st or.
Yeah.
But I did say, I did yesterday, I was like, tomorrow I'm going to start eating more healthy.
Well, I mean, that's good.
Like it's just,
I think that's good.
Just like, how people, they always say, I'm going to start that diet on
Tomorrow,
Monday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
After the weekend.
it's the beginning of the week.
Right. I guess there are two, like, and then do you make it like there's two schools of thought, more schools of thought than two probably. But okay, then do you tell other people, like would you tell other people that this is my resolution or whatever? Like you hear people like putting it on their social media, like this is what I'm going to be doing. Like I can see the one school of thought with that is, okay, you have other people to hold you accountable.
Right.
That's good.
Right.
But here's the flip side of that. Or do you keep it to yourself because you don't want to feel shamed or feel like
if you break it and you
disappointed
don't, right,
with yourself?
Right.
Like, do you just keep it to yourself because this is just something that I'm working on and nobody else needs to be involved in it because it adds a whole different layer of energy to it.
Yeah, true.
Whatever. So
depends
on who you are, probably.
No. Now I do talk to my husband and that's just general family life goals, but I think that's healthy and it's smart to do it with your partner, because it's things you want to work on together. But personal ones, no. No. And I've never thought about that either. Like, is it something that I should share? I've never been one to share that. What about you?
No. But I've not ever been a big
resolution
maker anyway. Yeah. Just because I feel like, if I'm going to change something, I want to do it, by myself because I really don't want other people's input on, I thought you were giving up this or I thought you were doing that because that'll just make me angry. Yeah. So, so I have found over the years, like if I'm going to change something, I'm just going to change it for myself or I'm just going to work on it for myself because I don't really feel like it's like, today it's white and tomorrow it's going to be 100% black. No, I don't think it happens like that.
Well, that also, it goes along with, they say that whenever you're planning to do something, don't talk about it. Yeah. Just like keep it to yourself. Yeah. If you have something big that you're doing or something you're working on, just, like once it comes out, okay, then talk about it. But that when you're working on it, keep it to yourself.
Right. Like, I don't know. I guess there are two kind of things that people make, like as a resolution, like either you're going to be like trying to break some sort of habit or stop some sort of behavior, right? Or you're going to be trying to add a new behavior or add a new routine or something like that.
Yeah, true.
And I think like people, like if they're breaking a habit, what are the best ways of doing that? Like keeping track of like the behavior, keeping track of what triggers that behavior. For example, like if you're a nail biter, we have this in my husband's side of the family. Like if you bite your nails, how can you break that habit? Like there's so many different approaches that you could take. But I think that one of the ways that people say is really successful is like being aware of what triggers it. Like, like when do you feel like that?
Emotions and situations.
Yeah, when do you feel it coming on? Like do you feel an actual physical trigger? Like, oh, my fingers start to itch or, I start to feel like this tension and I want to do that. And then once you become aware of like what your triggers are, maybe keeping track of those triggers, like just even check marks, writing down throughout the day, like keeping track of them. And then like after you're aware of that, then maybe instead of trying to just delete it, try to crowd it out with a new behavior in its place.
Okay.
So that like if you feel that trigger coming on, maybe you sit on your hands or you put your hands in your pocket or you snap yourself with a rubber band. You do something that that
I've read
replaces
about that where people keep the rubber band on and then they
Mhm.
kind of like they pull it and they pop themselves and it helps them kind of like
Come down.
yeah.
But then also like, and this goes with hypnotherapy and everything before too, like how are you going to actually, it's really interesting that people always talk about willpower, right? Like for example, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. And then, am I just going to like white knuckle it and I'm just going to willpower myself into doing it? And I think a lot of people have those prejudice against people because they see somebody who's overweight or whatever and they think they have no willpower, they have whatever. But it ends up that like all the latest research is saying that it's not really about willpower. Like if you want to lose weight or if you want to do something, that it's not just a matter of saying I have the willpower to do it and this person is just so much stronger than this person because they're able to be fit. I think it has more to do with like replacing whatever is going on that's preventing you from doing what you want to do. Like creating a new habit because so much of what you do is just run with the background with your subconscious.
Okay.
So putting like, for example, like somebody who might be really tempted to eat the chocolate cake in the refrigerator, somebody who could be seen as having a lot of willpower and they don't eat it is not really because of their willpower. It's just because in their default settings, they don't actually see the cake as an option,
Okay.
They just like, well, that's not for me. Or that's for my son, or that's for whatever. But it's just the background running, programming that allows them to just not even see the cake.
Do you think that, let me try to word this correctly. Do you think that if someone has a bad habit, for example, like you just said, biting fingernails, do you think that they have to replace that with something else?
I think initially you have to.
So something has to take the place of that.
Because I think you're building these neural pathways. I think you're just like enforcing these neural pathways of when this trigger comes up or when this thing this temptation comes up. It's all about some sort of neural pathways that you have that are set. Like this is some sort of release for you. Either it's some sort of emotional release for you. It's connected to some pathway that you've built in your brain. So you have to find some way to reconnect, to make a different pathway.
Right.
And that's either going to be like with the behavior of like with your, sitting on your hands or doing whatever, or it's something that you work through. Like when we make hypnosis tapes, we tell people usually listen to them for at least 21 days. You're trying to reprogram the brain.
Right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. So,
I love the hypnotherapy sorry. I love that. The whole hypnotherapy aspect. I think that I like that whole
it's very
route.
It's beneficial.
Yeah.
I mean,
A lot of people think that it's kind of hokey and, they think that you get in like a trance and it's all scary and spooky, but it's actually not.
It's not that
at all.
I mean, you're just working with what we normally run on the subconscious all the time.
Yeah,
so,
true.
I mean, you hypnotize yourself all the time. You're driving the car to work or whatever, and you get to work and you're like, how did I get here?
Exactly.
You're in this background mode, this default mode, and you've been sort of like hypnotized yourself.
Yeah.
So that's all it is. It's not something of stage hypnosis where like now you're going to be a dog. Whenever you hear a bell, you're going to be barking. Yeah.
Though I've never experienced that. The stage hypnosis.
Right.
But it's always interesting because I kind of put myself in the person's shoes that's on stage and I think, oh my goodness, what if I was the one up there? How would I react?
Yeah.
Like they'll say like, what is something that, or I don't know, I can't think of the words right now, but what is something that you experienced, or let's go back to when you were 15 and then the person like burst into tears, my sister stole my, it's something like random, but I think, oh my gosh, or they have you barking on stage or they have you, like crawling around and then all of a sudden you have no idea that you did any of that. That to me is freaky.
It is.
But
you have to be really susceptible. That's why you'll see those stage hypnotists are always testing the people before they get them
because
out
there's a lot of people that
want to see if they're susceptible to going into the trance to be able to be manipulated.
I don't think I could.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if you're just very consciously, saying I'm not going to, then you're
no.
not going to. Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. Well, that's interesting that you talked about the the habits and things like that. I read, well, first of all, I had told you this earlier. They say that for the resolutions, only 8% of the people actually go through and fulfill and the resolutions that they set for themselves.
Yeah.
So 92% of people do not follow through. And just like they say that gym memberships, the best time for gyms is January 1st,
Sure.
Everyone's in the
It's
gym.
full. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you end up just feeling like crap about yourself after, you said the resolution
Yeah.
and you're like, oh,
And you
I'm gonna
spent
do
the
this.
money.
Yeah.
And you spent the money
And
on
then
it.
you're like, I thought you were going to the gym. Last month you were going to the gym. You're like, yeah, well.
Listen, that's when the gyms say, no, you have to pay for the full year.
Yeah.
It's not monthly. You have
Yeah.
to do the full year now.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
smart.
That's right. Gyms can be a racket.
Yeah. They say that the resolutions that people make the most, exercising more,
Okay.
no brainer. Lose
Losing
weight.
for sure.
And that goes
Yeah.
hand in hand.
Yeah.
Getting organized,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is a wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Learn a new skill or hobby.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Live life to the fullest.
That's
Or-
vague. Yeah.
Right. Right. Or maybe incorporating more travel, more, more situations. Save more money, spend less money.
Okay.
Yes. Quit smoking.
Oh, that's sure. A big
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Spend more time with family and friends, travel more, and read more.
No, those are all good.
Yeah, they are.
Those
They
are all
are.
good. I mean, I can see it's exercise. Lose weight, I would have thought would have been the first one, but
Right. Right.
I mean, I guess the people exercising are wanting to lose weight.
Because usually they're like, I want to lose weight, so
yeah,
I'm going to go to the gym. So the lose weight should be on top.
yeah, it should be eat healthy. Did you say eat healthy?
Yeah, eat healthy
Yeah.
or
Those
just
are all
getting
hand in hand.
healthy. So
I mean, if you think about any of those things, it's default mode that's preventing you from doing those things, from losing weight, because it's just like a default mode that you're like suddenly going to go grab, McDonald's, or you're going to do something that's just easy. It's part of your routine.
Right.
So, oh, this is in the refrigerator. Let me eat this, or when I eat this, I feel better, or this, so it's everything that's preventing you usually from achieving those things is what has been wired.
because we
into
turn
your-
to comfort things.
yeah, what's been wired in your thinking. And
That's
that's all
right.
connected to, past and stuff like that.
Well, it came in my mind last week. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give up sugar. I did think that. I'm being very honest right now. I did think of giving up sugar, but then
Then
I
you
snapped
thought
out of that.
no.
I don't want to give up sugar,
Yeah.
and I just thought I love dates too much.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a
and I do like
healthier
sweets,
sugar.
and I think all in moderation.
Right.
To be honest,
That's what
I'm
I
not
think,
going to. I mean, if you're going to live your best life, why would you give up cake?
Right.
I mean, that's part of living your best life.
I think it just depends on the person. Like, you're not the kind of person that's like going to go gorge yourself or just get lost in the cake.
No. Oh, yeah.
So you're able to handle that, but people who cannot handle that are people that is satisfying a deeper need for them. You know? So they're eating the cake or they're eating the candy because it is something that has taken them away from something that was painful.
Yeah,
or
true.
It was an escape, but you don't have that. You're just like, you enjoy the.
I love
the
cake.
Sweet, yeah, but you know when to stop.
And
right?
one thing that I noticed though with myself is that if I'm watching a TV show, I don't know why, but I do.
Want
I
to
love
eat something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
It's like I enjoy it way more.
Yeah, it's true.
It's
It's like this is. I'm just sitting here watching a show without something. Yeah.
And I found myself. I don't know. You'll laugh. The show Married to Medicine.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why, but I realized it when that show starts. When I play it on my laptop, I crave something. Is that not
Specifically
bizarre?
that show?
Yes. Isn't that weird?
Huh.
Married to Medicine.
Huh.
Married to
They're in
Medicine.
the reunion. I was watching their
Yeah.
reunion. Yeah.
I caught up on a lot of shows this past week as well.
'Cause you
At
had the
night, I've
time
been
off.
staying up a lot later, but yeah, I caught up on all the Jersey Shore.
Oh my gosh, I don't watch that.
Yeah, there was like 22 episodes, and but I skipped through some, and I finished Blacklist. You
I
don't
don't
watch
watch
that
that.
show. It's
No.
very good though. But
No.
yeah, so I noticed that I don't know why. It's like I enjoy the show more when I have something
Yeah.
sweet or
I think you also
salty.
can enjoy that. Do you not enjoy the shows or whatever it is that you want to do do you not enjoy them better when you do not have the idea that, day after tomorrow I've got to go back to work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have something lingering over you. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you just
you're
feel
dreading.
like you can just enjoy yourself a lot more.
Right.
And that's a mindset thing.
Indulge.
It's got to be a mindset thing. That you're
Oh,
just
that's
like
true.
your obligations of work or whatever just hanging.
Yeah.
You know, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. There has to be some way
It'll
to
be here
rewire
soon.
that, right?
Yeah. I need a hypnotherapy session on that one.
And we're going back soon.
Oh, yeah. Sunday.
Going back to our...
For those of you that don't know, Sunday is the beginning of the week here.
Yep. Sunday is the Monday.
Oh, yes.
Thursday is the Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That
So,
took
yeah,
a
it's
while.
coming. These weeks, they've went by fast.
They have gone by very fast.
But it's been good weeks.
It's that's how you feel like. I don't know. We were just talking about that, like the idea of time and how it seems like it goes by really quickly. Or I think it goes by really quickly when we are when we're not in that moment, right?
Right.
Like when you're thinking, okay, I've got to be home by 3:00 because I have to do this, and then I have to be out of the house by 5:00 because my child needs to do this, or then I get to have dinner ready by 6, whatever. So the time is like all chopped up, and you're always living in that next moment rather than being really present in the moment that you're in.
Right.
And I think that's one way to slow the time down is just by finding ways to actually to actually be sitting somewhere in that moment and taking things in. Yeah.
Be mindful and present right
And
then.
it definitely evaporates when you're on the phone, right? Or when you're on your...
Oh, yeah.
When you're going through social media.
I saw something funny. You just mentioned the phone. I saw something funny on Instagram, and it was like, you're looking through Instagram, you get bored, so you close your phone, and then 10 seconds later, you open up Instagram again.
Yeah.
To see if something has changed.
Yeah. Because you figure you follow so many different people, and you have so many that somebody out there has posted something life-shattering, changing.
And I saw another post. It was like, I hope this year is really as happy as you make it look on Instagram.
Right.
And people just try, they only,
post
the majority of people, post the happy moments. And it's
post
just
those. Do you? You don't really post those.
I don't really catch them on camera.
No, I don't either.
But no.
But then I also, like, for me, I don't know why, I don't want to ever be caught being inauthentic.
Right.
I don't want to, I don't ever want anybody to call me on my BS. I'm sure that I have moments inside of my head where I'm being inauthentic.
Yeah.
but I don't want it,
I get that.
I just don't want people to say, well, wait a minute, I thought you were doing, or I don't want even people to be in their minds thinking, well, Caroline was doing blah, 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 or Caroline. Yeah. Because I know she doesn't really like that, or I know she doesn't really, I don't want to be that person, that fake person.
Yeah. And a lot of people, they only post the, the things that look good. And,
How many people do you follow that, you see only like their travels or only these, amazing events? Although I know that people, why would you post the bad events?
That's true. Yeah, no one wants to see those.
No. And that's true. That's stupid. Then I feel kind of bad for saying what I just said. Because, why would you post? You wouldn't post like, this is when I failed my driving test, or, or this is, this is my car crash.
But they do that on Facebook, though.
Yeah. What?
Right?
No.
A lot of the negative things?
Some people will. No, not really. I guess some people will post things like if they, are having an illness or something, and they want some support, or some people post things and like pray for my, that kind of stuff. But no, I don't know. I guess people just want to feel happy, and if they get other people, but how many people write in support of that? Because a lot of people are like envious.
Yeah,
so then
true.
If somebody's posting, then that's really crappy. Why are they posting it to begin with? If they know that people are not gonna be happy for them, then it's just kind of like shoving it in their face.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people like to shove things in other people's faces.
Well, yeah, that's probably true. Then they're not good people. Then stop following those people that post those things just to shove it in your face, because they're not nice.
In your face,
they're
people.
Not nice people. So let's make that a resolution.
Yes.
For 2020.
Unfollow.
Stop following the people who are posting all of their pictures of their duck lips in front of the,
I hate that.
Of their new Maserati or whatever.
Do people still do that? Like,
I think they do. I think it's become like a default thing That now you see like
You know what
even,
irritates
like,
me
older
so
women
badly?
that are doing that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Is that what irritates you? Is that what you were going to say?
The whole duck face thing, the pouty lips.
I know.
That is so annoying to me.
But you know what I was thinking about? I don't know why this came up. I saw some girl and it was some, like, it's a situation where it was something silly. And maybe it was Project Runway or something like that.
Okay.
Or maybe, no, it wasn't. Maybe I was just thinking about it. But she was like doing this face. No, she was a cheerleader or something, and she was doing that face, like that sultry face, or
Okay.
like the angry face.
Okay.
You know, where I'm like fierce woman because
That
I'm so
reminds me of
beautiful.
Cameron on Housewives of Dallas.
Being beautiful, like just fierce and beautiful, but she's kind of goofy.
Yeah.
But like where they feel like it's steely-eyed, and I'm tough or whatever like that. And then it looks just really stupid because you know where you have that idea like everybody's looking at me and I'm fierce and whatever like that.
Oh, yeah.
But in the end, like if you draw the camera back, like zoom out,
Mm-hmm.
you're just really like this little person.
Yeah.
And nobody is like really that impressed with you, right?
Yeah.
But you feel
You're just
like
impressed with
the
yourself.
whole center
Yeah.
is all around you, and oh, I look fierce and
Yeah.
whatever. Like you're not a policewoman, and you're not like somebody who's. I'm not that that's the end all be all.
Yeah.
You're not like somebody that like people should be afraid of. So why are you trying to come across as like you're really, like in the end you're just this little person. Like if we just draw the camera back, we're all just like these little people, and
Yeah.
and the spotlight is not just on us. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
it's a big
true.
spotlight.
That-
So
That's
it's not
true.
just all centered on us. So I don't know. That's
So
just
love those
that's just
resolutions.
a thought I had. So don't feel like you're the end all be all for 2020. Try to find your connection
Be
with
humble
other
a
people.
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
try to find connection with other people.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
I think I think that's the most interesting things that I see on social media
Yeah.
and Facebook more than Instagram, that you see stories of people, like the stories of people like this happened to me today, and it's like meaningful things where people have reached out and done something nice for somebody else or
Yeah.
made a connection.
Yeah.
That I like those kind of stories better than
It's
seeing
interesting
little
whenever
duck
you
lips.
see people that you haven't seen in years,
Mhm.
but you knew them,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden they turned out to be this guru of something.
Yeah.
That
You're
to
like,
me is annoying.
you
It
were a
annoys
stranger.
me
Yeah.
because I'm like, I knew you way
Yeah.
back in the
That's
day.
the
and-
inauthentic. Unless they really are. Unless they've really made like a huge life change thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There was a weird.
But some people, I just don't believe them.
Right. Exactly.
just
'Cause
like,
I'll give you a follow up on that. Because there's a guy that I was friends with. Not friends with. He was in my class, but we
Okay.
had small classes.
Okay.
And this was in North Carolina. And he was like, okay, just a normal guy or whatever. And then I saw, oh my God, he has a yoga studio in my hometown.
Oh,
Like
wow.
he has a yoga studio. That's really cool. I never would have thought, because I thought he was kind of like a redneck.
Yeah.
So, so I was
Redneck
like,
yoga.
yeah, I was like really surprised that
cute.
he has like a yoga studio. And then I saw like his post after that. He was talking all about rah, kill people, whatever like that. Like, because he was ex-military too. Not that that's
Oh, gosh.
bad, but he was just like, I was like, how does that work with yoga? I don't get that.
Namaste.
Yeah, namaste. Like,
Namaste with
we're
my.
gonna kill you. Yeah,
That's interesting.
it was really strange. So I was like, he must be really conflicted. Like
Yeah.
downward dog and shoot you up. I don't know. It's very
Oh,
strange
gosh.
to me.
That is definitely a
How
weird
do you-
combo.
Yeah. How do you ever find your Zen place?
Oh, goodness. Yeah, that's bizarre.
Yeah. But
I got nothing on
people
that
are
one.
strange. People are strange.
Oh, yeah.
You see them evolve.
And they're getting stranger.
Yeah, they are. Better just to go live on a farm.
Be a hermit somewhere.
Yeah, just come out every now and then on a podcast.
Yeah.
Let's just
Share
all-
your 2 cents with everybody.
You can't find me.
That's funny.
Oh, Lordy.
Well, that's cool. But I do think it'll be a good year.
I do
God
too.
willing, it'll be good.
I do too. Law of attraction, just, build it and they will come. So, anyway, that is it. If you guys have anything to add, stories to add, we have some stories coming up in our next podcast.
Yes.
We've heard from a couple of listeners. We're excited to share their stories with you.
Yeah. We've met some people, or not met them, but connected with them online.
Social
a lot
media,
of, a lot of
Instagram.
expats
Mm-hmm.
and people that just have completely different stories. And it's really interesting because everyone has their own unique story.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's different. And it's really interesting some families, how they become expats, and the life, the paths that people choose to take, and it's so different than the norm,
Right.
staying in the hometown you grew
Right.
up in, and then and
Right.
it just a lot of people just took the leap and just completely
Try
changed
something
their
new.
life, their family's life. Yeah. So we will have some good stories for you coming up, and we will also tell you their accounts that you can go and follow them as well.
Yes.
Follow them on their journeys and
Building bridges.
oh yes.
Building bridges. So
But
we
yeah,
want to hear
please
from
do.
everybody.
Yeah, let us hear from you.
Even if you're not a world traveler, or you feel like you don't have like an amazing story to tell. I mean, like you could grow up in the same little, Denmark, South Carolina. There is a Denmark, South Carolina.
Denmark?
Yes,
Oh, that's
there
cool.
is. So there's a Norway too.
Oh, okay.
So
and there's a lot of Beiruts around the States as
Yeah.
well. And also Baghdad, Florida.
Yeah. I mean, Tallahassee is an Arabic name.
Yeah.
So you could live in Denmark, South Carolina your whole life, but you could have a totally, something that other people around the world don't know anything about. I mean,
Right.
so we would like to hear from everybody. It doesn't mean that you have to be a world traveler or you have to have this amazing story, but we'd like to just, peek into everybody's life or hear what your experience has been. So
Yep.
you could follow us. You could go to Instagram at Desert Coffee Chats Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Follow us, and you could send us a message there, or
our email as well, Desert Coffee Chats
Gmail.
without the podcast at gmail.com. Send us an email. And also, as we've had before, people that send in the voice messages as well, we can
Yes.
play it instead of reading it.
like and follow us, please. Give us a 5-star rating.
Yeah, and on iTunes, if you're on Apple Podcasts, please do leave us a review. We would love to hear from you, and we're on all of the podcast platforms right now.
iHeartRadio, yeah, everything.
iHeartRadio, Spotify, BuzzSprout.
But it'll make it so much more interesting if you guys join in.
Yeah,
Everybody joins in.
that's true.
So until next time, have a great
New Year's,
New Year,
and
yeah.
hope that everything works out.
Let's hear about your resolutions.
Oh, yes.
Let's hear about your resolutions and how you're doing with that.
That's right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Desert Coffee Chats.